The spring split.
I mean, they've looked so good. Have Valance Squadron. They're 3-0. I just cannot wrap my brain around the fact that NRG is 0-3.
They kind of shut Adapting down that game of having 3 Guardians. That's the way I look at it. Because all Adapting can do is if he goes in, he's going to consistently get peeled off of the carries. And even if he does kill the carry, then Kepri's going to revive him too.
Yeah, and Big Man Tings had an unbelievable game on that Kepri. Very, very strong. Very surprised to see Cabrakan being the first ban. I guess NRG thought that Cherio with that frontline Cabrakan was the issue. I could see NRG first picking Kepri away from Valance Squadron here. We've known Rafa is very, very comfortable on it. He's very strong on the Kepri. I would not want to give Big Man Tings at Kepri again.
We'll see if they go straight up with it, because if you do, you give up Thanatos potentially for the opposition to come back and look for that themselves. But so it could be a situational one.
After how good Cherio was on a tank, I want him to prove to me that he can play the assassin, that he can play the carry sort of assassin, and it is going to be that Kepri locked in. Big Man was just too good on this god.
He was really solid on overall. Valance Squad now get 2 picks themselves. They could look for mid-jungle here just to get the better synergy off the blocks, just because, you know, they don't have to worry about getting the support just yet.
That's true. They don't have to worry about their support whatsoever. Amaterasu going to be locked in. This could be support. Yep, this could definitely be support. Again, Europe with their stuff that they like to do.
It worked for Obey against NRG, so maybe it'll work for Valance Squad as well.
You know what else worked against NRG? Kepri.
Winning.
Yeah, like a Guardian.
Kepri and winning.
Like a normal composition.
Legs up on for Valance Squad. What will it be is the question now, because this kind of dictates where the rest of the game are going. Ooh, so that can go mid.
Flex, yeah, I would say flex.
Can go into the Haunted role too. And I think that's what they're looking for here.
I don't know if I can remember Lobster playing Ullr necessarily in the middle lane, but
he has.
Still that sort of caster mentality in the mids. You can go for the exact same build that he went last time with the Transcendence, the Fatalis, all that kind of stuff, though he doesn't have that sustain that Neath does in that middle lane, so he may need a little bit of lifesteal somewhere in that build, but definitely a flex pick capability here for Valance.
But Poseidon here, that didn't get through last game, but it will this time. Yamin's going to immediately pick that up. Last time we saw Yamin play Poseidon in mid, I believe he started off with Ragnar's. I don't think he's going to do that again.
No, I don't think so. That would be pretty risky. Hunbats, 2 gods that were banned away from NRG last time. They lock him in that mid-jungle synergy, adapting so strong on the Hunbats. Great mid-game control, and then late-game carry potential with the crits coming off the in-hands. And then Poseidon, it's going to be Giannis here for Valance, so they clearly they weren't worried about that Poseidon. A lot of teams don't like picking Poseidon into Kepri because you can have your Kraken nullified by Scarab's Blessing, but I mean, Papa Lobster was the first real proponent of Poseidon in Season 3. He was the one who brought it out. I believe it was at Super Regionals, and was like, guys, this god is really, really good. Passes it up, going for this Giannis.
Circuit banned out by NRG, a little bit worried about the mobility that Cherio could have with that one as well. So they'll take that away. Freya banned away from Emelita from Valance Squad, not real surprised now that they've got all locked in. And Naja too, so they've really hit Cherio pretty hard, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Naja is Cherio's premier god. No surprise to see that banned away. Definitely NRG recognizing how strong the Egyptian jungler can be on his signature god.
Oh, Ymir.
Ymir, I think this could be Ymir jungle. I really do.
I do. I was thinking Athena or Ymir for the jungle, not for the support role. I was thinking maybe they'd look for that for Cherio. He plays the supportive style of jungle pressure overall. And so NRG going to answer back with an Anher. And then finally they do a solo laner. Tears and Wukong. What
not going to be Hercules. That's banned away. It's going to be the tier here for Dimmy, and I like this selection. Just so much. This time it's NRG that has the big AoE control. They've got multi-man CC capability. The wide cripple there from Poseidon. The Fear No Evil, obviously very, very disruptive in the middle of the team fight. The giant pillar slow as well. Good team fight control from NRG's draft.
And Valance Squad will finally lock in Chak at the end. Zayli has been gone to that for a long time now. Everyone recognizes Chak. Zayli's Chak is very, very strong. Not scared to go damage on that even with the Transcendence early if he gets allowed to just free fall.
And he should have the push potential to really get Dimmy underneath that tower early on. Tier very, very good in the early game, but probably still not as good as Chalk with that blue stone.
Well, on paper, I'm favoring, I gotta say, NRG Squad, or at least on paper, the picks and bans wise anyway. I mean, after game 1, I would have wanted to favor Valance here, but I don't think they did as well in picks and bans as they did in game 1.
The Ymir for me is going to be the real difference maker. Can Cherio position well enough to wall off Yemen in the jungle, or is he going to be really abused by Poseidon, really take advantage of that immobility in the jungle? That's one of the things Poseidon excels at. Just that route from Raffer directly into a Gem of Isolation Whirlpool is probably going to kill Cherio if he doesn't have a Wingblade. I definitely expect Cherio to pick up an early Wingblade here.
Well, Raffer here has once again started Hand of the Gods on Kepri this time, not just on the Geb, so keep an eye on him for how well that works out this game as well.
Yeah.
It worked when he picked it up, let's be honest.
It did.
It didn't help his team overall in the later stages, but in the early game, it did help control some of these buffs in the jungle.
Once Valance hit 12, once Big Man Tings hit 12, it made it a lot easier for them to win the team fights. There's where you saw the kind of bad side of picking up that hog early on, but certainly use it to great effect early in the game.
So NRG are going to choose to do their purple buff over trying to clear the wave by the looks of it here. The problem is the purple buff hasn't spawned until just this second, and the wave is already dead. MLito has cleared out the little babies on one side.
They just got the little guys.
Rafa has killed the little guys on the other side. Now they're going to go a lane to hit level 2 off that as well, and deny Valance Squadron from being able to do that unless they want to try and steal a buff. But then I guess that's why Rafa's got the hog available in case they go for the steal.
Very, very good play there, understanding that they are going to get out pushed. Even with a pretty decent early lane clear from On Her, not great in the early game with that impale. Takes until you max it out really to be really solid wave clear. But of course, Khepri, excellent with that Rising Dawn. But with that aura for Big Man Tings on the Amaterasu, as well as the Uller lane clear, definitely a heads-up play by NRG.
You saw a bit of a heads-up play from Lobster there as well. He realized they didn't really have the opportunity on his own to clear those buffs out safely. He wasn't exactly sure where NRG was. So instead he fell back towards mid, left all the Harpies up in the jungle, as well as those elementals on the right-hand side, which is what NRG ended up taking hold of.
And you can see it's actually adapting, invading the back camps here. And this is going to be better for adapting than Cherio because back camps are worth more than the mid Harpies at this stage. More important to be getting up those back camps than the mid Harpies, though you still see a lot of teams putting prioritization on the mid Harpies because they are more contestable. You don't assume that they're going to get stolen away, your back camps, but against adapting, that's certainly a possibility. He's gotten both. He actually just wrapped around the back tower there.
And he will get out scot-free as well. On the left-hand side, though, NRG are looking to clear the red buff, but here comes Valance Squad to contest. Big Man Tings shows his face. The Impale didn't hit from Emilito. The axe will, though, from Funball, and Emilito eats more than he would like.
But adapting is here. Emilito so low. Funball on point with every single one of his abilities. Walled off. There's the purification. Cherio can't quite find the ice carpet.
Will hit,
not going to be enough damage,
no
though.
Follow-up available with the unstable vortex on cooldown, and also Cherio being out of mana. But there's an impact of those walls early on, showing that Cherio knows exactly what he's going to do with them at the right time to try and pin people in awkward spots.
In a 20-second period, 2 members of NRG lose their purification beads. That's not what you want to have happen up against Ymir and Amaterasu, who are excellent at CCing you reliably.
Well, right now, the only level 5 in the game is Lobster on that Giannis, so keep an eye on the global rotations coming out from Giannis as time goes on. He is up against Yamin and Poseidon here, and Poseidon is very good against Giannis. If he's away from a wall, you're going to have a bad time, especially if you only start beats.
That is very true. However, remember that you can portal yourself. You can just portal your ground, even if you are crippled. A little bit of something that I forgot once upon a time.
Once upon a time, I don't think you ever remembered it until just now. But yes, you can self-banish. It's classed as a banish if it goes through the ground instead. So you can do that, self-banish yourself to make sure you don't take any damage for a few seconds. But you do make yourself a sitting duck, so make sure you don't do it at the wrong time. Otherwise, you'll be on the casting set like aggro is because you're no longer any good.
That implies that I was once good, and I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
Good job. Good save. You're learning. Elemental's going to go the way of NRG there as well, so they're going to continue to extend their gold lead without any first blood so far. They've secured their own jungle, invaded the enemy jungle a couple of times, mainly with back Harpies at the start of this game, but it has made an impact a little bit towards the levels of their players.
The XP difference definitely more significant than the 500, 600 gold lead that they have at this stage, though. Again, Valance, their composition really wants to fight not right now, not at the 3-minute mark, but at the 13-minute mark whenever Cherio finishes off his second item. Funball wants to get his Transcendence done. Lobster probably wants 2, maybe 2.5 items, depending on what he wants to go for with his second item. Could go for a Doom Orb. We've seen a lot of Giannis's really feel comfortable with that because of how safe Giannis can be in that middle lane. You could also go for a Chronos Pendant. Anything along those lines to give him a little bit of CDR. Got a lot of options on Giannis, but once he finishes 2.5 items, that's when you'll see Lobster try and play a little bit more aggressive.
It's a very methodical set, this one overall, though, with how these two teams have really played the first game and now this one again. It's nothing overly crazy. It's just farming up, playing safe, looking for an opportunity. There's been no shenanigans of like, well, let's look to invade round here and catch someone out of position and get a big lead. It's just been about farming.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you got a bunch of veterans on both sides. I mean, you've got Lobster, you've got Funball, guys who have been around the EU scene forever, as well as Raffer, Yamin Adapting, who have been in every big game for the last 2 years, basically.
Funball and Emilito trading because Funball knows he's got backup coming around the corner in terms of Big Man Tings and Lobster there as well. Lobster's rotations are starting to show favor now. for Valance Squadron, just showing that he will be around the map and trying to pressure, and it seems the focus will be on Amelito here early on.
I mean, as far as mid laners go that aren't Giannis, that can try and keep up with Giannis, Poseidon's one of the better ones because he has the movement speed built into his passive. He's very, very quick at lane clearing if he wants to use 2 abilities. So you can really you can take advantage of that and try and get there and match those rotations with Lobster, but obviously nothing faster than through space and time.
Well, Dimmy's been a bit bullied there by Zaylia in the lane. You can see both the ultimates are down. Dimmy uses his defensively to get away from Zaylia's Chak here, who's starting to go through the power spikes. Chak does at this stage of the game with full Warrior Tabby on, and the full damage from the Axe coming into account.
Yeah, I think that might actually favor Dimmy, though, because without that CC immunity, Zaylia much more susceptible to ganks from adapting. Yes, Dimmy's going to be a little bit, have a tougher time with the walls from Cherio, but that's not going to be maxed right now for the Mir jungle, and he's got that passive to make sure he's not going to be stunned out for more than a second. So if I'm Dimmy, I'm pretty happy with that trade, and I'm calling adapting over to make sure that Zaylia fears no evil pretty soon.
See what happens with that one as well. Looks like we're going to see an interesting start out of Rafa again as well, going for a little bit more mobility with the wing blade here overall instead of going for the boots. Well, this is something we've seen in the past. We normally see people go for the boots, but it has been an option before.
I don't know what it is about new seasons that makes everyone think they don't need boots anymore, but it's just like new season, new me, no boots. That's what everyone tries to do.
We should just remove boots because most of the characters have boots on it. If your character model does not have boots, you don't get boots. That should be the rule.
No.
And if your character model has boots...
You spend too much time on Reddit, dog.
Listen, if your character model has boots on it, you should automatically get free boots.
Okay.
And if your character model doesn't have boots...
Kukulkan's just slower than everyone else.
Tough, yeah. But like, same again,
you want to buff Thoth?
Your maid doesn't have boots.
You want to buff Thoth?
Yeah, let's buff Thoth. Let's do it. I think...
Does Scylla have boots?
I don't know. We don't know if she's got tentacles.
We can just assume.
No, we can't.
We can just assume she's got boots.
You don't see her feet, do you?
Hindu, that means we get to buff Scylla again.
I don't want to buff Scylla.
We both know that's not true.
I know. What do you mean we both know it's not true? Why would I want to buff Scylla?
You were the one that buffed Scylla in the first place. Everyone knows that.
Forehead? What? Impale comes out from Amelito on Fun Baller here as he just continues to farm up. The most interesting lane probably is the solo lane for the boxing slapfest right now, because nobody else is really doing anything out of the ordinary of going aggressive. I say that as Fun Baller takes 1 step extra forward for a second and then changes his mind.
1 whole step. As soon as he sees the rotations coming from NRG, he knows that he can't step up any farther than that. Adapting pretty deep into the jungle there, getting a little bit of poke onto Big Man Tings, but he's not too worried about it. He's got that sustain from the stance switch on his first ability.
Yeah, and that stance switch will allow him with the aura just to heal up a little bit, but it's also the mobility is one of the reasons we see Amaterasu in the support role a little bit more often as well. She does also, with her in hand, increase the amount of damage characters take, so it has a lot of benefits to doing this. There's
a lot of things that make Amaterasu support really, really good. You've got the ultimate that is a guaranteed CC on any target that doesn't have purification beads. You've got the silence that lasts a pretty long duration, as well as that aura like you were talking about, giving your whole team extra damage, extra movement speed, and great at burning down objectives like Gold Fury and Portal Demon because of that passive, really exposing the weakness, getting that extra damage for the whole team on that target.
For sure. It's not the greatest overall, though, for peeling. I mean, you've got to rely on a silence on your ultimate, and the silence is the easiest thing in the world to confirm. It's not like an ISIS silence or anything like that, but the Gold Fury was looked at a second ago by NRG. They looked to pressure Valance Squadron there after that pause, and now they're going to fall straight back to the Gold Fury again.
Dimmy teleports in. They do have the Hog on Rafa ready to go, but there it is, through space and time, right through. Big Man Tings with that dazzling offense, looking at Rafa. There's the support, but immediately into the Impale and Kraken.
But it's not enough damage to bring anyone down. Adapting will clean up with the help of Amelito and that Desert Fury as well. Tings falls down. Zaylia a little bit late to the fight. He's looking to try and clean up Amelito, who leaps over the wall. Instead, he now has to turn towards Rafa. Into the Whirlpool he goes, though, which will slow him down in time to only allow him to pick up Rafa. Now, Dimmy could turn this around on him.
Oh, can't quite get to the portal there from Lobster. 3 for 1 in favor of NRG. Just a little bit ambitious coming through that portal were both Lobster and Cherio. Cherio specifically because, again, he's this immobile, tanky Guardian, but he immediately eats the Impale from Amelito, which forces out his Purification, and then Adapting's just sitting there waiting to use that Fear No Evil.
And some of that, I guess, as well, is down to wall placements that Valance Squadron had, because Dimmy teleports in, and I think Zaylia was really struggling on where he could teleport to get involved in that fight. I think he ended up going towards tier 1 mid lane tower.
I think he did too.
And having to rotate in there. If he would have had a ward a little bit closer, it could have made a bit of a difference in that engagement. In the end, NRG win the fight. They get first blood out of it as well. They don't get the Gold Fury, however, so there's a small boon for Valance Squadron there.
About 1,000 gold in the lead for NRG right now. Yeah, 1,300. You got 3,000 experience difference, though, and that's going to start to materialize a little bit more damage than that gold difference. Just getting a couple more points into your abilities, a little bit more base HP, mana, all those sorts of things that really help you to win a close team fight.
Now, this is a very similar comp Valance Squadron's running here when you look at it on paper. With the Chak, with Cherio and the Ymir, and with Amaterasu, it's all about big tanks for the front line, and then 2 damage dealers as well. The only problem with this is those big tanks in the front line, they do have a lot less control than what we saw out of the 3 Guardian setup they had last game.
Yes, very, very much so. Much less control from Valance Squadron's composition this time around. You've got the close range stun from Cherio, and then that's about it outside of ultimates. I mean, you got the stun from Funball as well, but that you don't have that guaranteed, you know, wall in from Kabrakin, the long range Spirit Arrow from Neith. Anything along those lines, and not nearly as strong.
Realistically as well, when you look at it, even Lobster's got a little bit less outside of his ultimate. Take away his ultimate, he's got a little bit less on a Giannis for self-peel to an extent. If he puts a portal down for aggression, like he would with a Spirit Arrow, he can't use that to get through a wall as well to escape like he could with a backflip.
That's true, but if Lobster's using portal aggressively, then he already knows he's
Funball using Funball aggressively, and he's going to eat a Desert Fury from Emilito. That trade over there, I could see that one coming, where they would just keep fighting back and forth. Ooh, that was close, Lob. A little bit too late, though. But I don't think it would have killed him anyway. It would have gone pretty low. Lobster still wants it. Maybe not.
He may as well tax this wave. He made the journey all the way over there. Yeah, exactly. And there you see that Ichabal pickup early on for Emilito. He's not going for that Transcendence Rush that Funball did last time. Instead, going for the Ichabal allows him to take that box and lane better.
Paul Demon started by NRG here as well. They did so well off that individual play from Emilito. Emilito kills Funballer, forces Lobster to rotate. NRG respond by taking speed buff from Valance Squadron. The Portal Demon, the right-hand Harpies as well. All good stuff. NRG actually gaining a nice lead without even doing a Gold Fury yet.
Cherio, again, a little bit behind in the jungle, and he had such a great game when it came to the team fights in game 1, but was lacking in farm basically the entire time, trying to share a little bit too much probably in the jungle, whereas adapting much more selfish in his style of farming. And you can see it's definitely happening again. 2 levels up is adapting on Cherio in the jungle, which means it's going to be another relic pickup here for adapting. Cherio's still got to wait another level.
And it does look like with the playstyle Valance Squadron has here, they wanted to wait for the mid game for the level 12s at least, because you don't really have a Ymir go into beads instead of blink in the jungle, unless you're going to wait for that mid game and then look for the spike there instead. It does mean though that NRG do get a substantial lead in the early game by you allowing to do this and not have the aggression from the jungler available to you.
Very true, and we saw the Purification was only used once so far from Cherio, and it didn't even save his life because of how much CC potential that NRG have. It isn't, again, as much as Valance had last time around, but much more similar. They've got long-range CC, long-range control, not so much with hard CC, but with slows. That's the big name for NRG in this game. Slows is the problem.
Well, Gold Fury control is in favor of NRG right now, and adapting going to chase Cherio back into his own half. Look for the monkey toss there. Looking for a cheeky little bounce just to allow a bit more pressure if need be there. But instead he's going to rotate towards mid for the time being. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Dimmy on the tier, currently proxy farming waves against Xaylia, trying to answer back some of the lead. And you can see how much of a lead Dimmy's managed to collect here against Xaylia, considering how close it was once upon a time.
Ooh.
2-level lead.
Lobster forced to use his Aegis and his beads to get away from adapting alone. That's how much damage he's already doing on that Hun Bats with that Heartseeker pickup.
Blink,
Dimmy blinks underneath that tower.
Cherio forced to beads, doesn't manage to find the freezer. However, the Kraken will find a mark that hits onto 2, and in goes Dimmy again onto Big Man Tings, who's forced to ult defensively. Xaylia around the corner looking at adapting. Adapting gets revived by Rafa, and NRG fall back to safety. Emilito's not even arrived yet. It's unusual I get to say that, because normally when NRG fight like that in mid, Emilito's already there.
Very, very heads-up play from Rafa, spacing beautifully, making sure he doesn't get hit by that storm call so he can't get silenced out, which allows him to find that Scarab's Blessing onto adapting. Really, really great play there. And again, it's just Cherio on this Ymir really getting picked on by NRG, looking to abuse his immobile nature.
A little bit late on the beads as well, I want to say, when he got hit by that Fearless. He juggled him a little bit too long, and that just allowed the Kraken to 100% confirm as well the damage onto him.
Emilito jumping in. He needs to find a little bit more than that.
No mana.
You know, I respect it, man.
No, I don't.
Yeah, how do you not love that?
He saw 2 in lane and went, I've got enough for a leap and a Desert Fury. Let's do this.
If he would have hit...
No, come on. Come on.
Yeah, but like, when you hear Leroy in your comms, you're just like, all right, it's either going to go really well or really poorly. I mean, you're right. Either way he dies there, it's just trying to go one for one.
I look at it from the fact that the last time he did that on the left-hand side, it actually resulted in a big net win for NRG. So doing it again, if he finds a player there, he hits the highlight reel and maybe nets NRG a little bit more as well. But instead, not the case. I actually do think, though, Adapts on the right did steal away the speed buff while Emelito was dying, though. And so Emelito can be like,
calculated.
Worth, I knew what I was doing. I caused a distraction.
Trying to get Adapting another speed buff. Cherio off the mark there with the freeze, directly into the abduct, going to take a lot of damage. Doesn't have that purification. Use the shards of ice to give him that CC immunity, but the Kraken going to find a home, as is the Fearless. Dimmy picks him up.
Dimmy just waited with the Fearless there, stood and took the damage that Ymir was going to do, and then turned it around straight afterwards. Now Zalia's in trouble as well after Adapting's Fearless evil hit, but Funball did a lot of work there. Big Man Ting's looking to stun out Rapper and pick up a kill in response. Dimmy, however, took out Zalia as the fight happens, and Adapting managed to revive, but Lobster wants the kill. He jumps to a minion, looking to juke out, and Voice moves him all the damage. How are they missing everything here? Adapting's jukes are on point, and Lobster's annoyed by the looks of it. I think he wants to give chase.
Oh, he's still going. He wants him, but Adapting's got that speed buff. He's not going to be able to catch him. The Unstable Vortex just could not find a home. Lobster tried to shotgun him, but just missed.
Unstable Vortex, he also had All-Bladed Arrow that missed there as well. The damage coming out from Big Man Tings as he was trying to close the gap as well, missed. So Adapting just juked around, and it was all thanks to the speed buff that Emelito did on purpose to make sure Adapting would live. Good job, Emelito.
Shout outs to Emelito. You know what's also funny about that is the only reason Adapting's in that position is he has Scarab's Blessing on him, and Lobster hits the snipe on him, but it was half a second too early, so he gets revived, brought back to where Raffer had died, and then he's got to try and do the jukes there. Lobster, a little bit unfortunate with that timing. It must have been literally half a second too early.
Well, it's now 7-3. The gold lead is around 2,000 to 3,500, I should say. No, it's 2,500. Math is hard today, it seems.
Math's always hard, dude.
With the Gold Fury, not really. I mean, it's just like, how many have they got? How many have they got? What's the difference? It's not rocket science.
You're the one who just messed it up. I tried to help you, and you just BM yourself.
I don't want to.
You'd rather BM yourself than accept my help.
That's how I deal with things, okay? I BM myself so nobody else can. That's how you defend yourself.
See, I try that, but then it's just me and you guys crapping on me all the time.
Because you're stupid. That's not the only reason.
And there it is.
5,000 experience, though, in the lead for NRG, and that 2,500 gold is just under now as we continue watching this. I expect to see them go for potentially the Gold Fury there as well off the back of that. But they are even respectful of Valance and the fact that they do have a Yana still who can fire that through space and time and transport the whole team to a fight. Dimmy, though, coming towards mid.
He's going to have that angle onto Cherio, going to find that Fearless. Yemen does have the Kraken, but doesn't want to use it onto him quite yet. Cherio finds the freeze, immediately the purification. There's the Kraken, but it misses. Cherio uses purification
and Aegis.
And Aegis, though. It would have been fine with just purification.
While this is going on, Adapting once again will take his secondary speed buff in the jungle that he owns on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, that's his speed buff now. Cherio hasn't gotten it so long, it's not his anymore.
And Emelito was like, I was going to box for you, but Funball is not here this time, so, you know, I'll just farm the wave instead and apply a bit more pressure. But surprised to see Cherio gone for the Aegis here to go with the beads. He's not... I was expecting maybe some aggression on this team, because when you actually look at the composition Valance have drafted, who is their initiation? What is their real initiation in? A
wall. A wall. It's got to be the wall. Yeah, that's the only real option there. Big Man Tings.
You can try and do a blink freeze, you know, as another potential engagement option.
Oh, through space and time on this left-hand side, but it's not going to be able to find him and not produce the portals that were necessary to allow that chase to continue happening. It's also going to open up that on the right-hand side. Portal Demon falls. You can hear by that nice little sound cue. That's going to go the way of NRG, extending that gold lead a little bit higher.
And still, no Gold Fury is taken. But yeah, the Portal Demon will allow him to transport themselves back towards mid lane if they want. Adapting, got to keep his eyes around the Gold Fury now, just knowing that his troops are recalling back to base, going back to lane a little bit more now. This red buff down for a little bit longer as now NRG start to bring all their troops over and pull the Gold Fury.
And they've got Big Man Tings and Cherio here, but Cherio, again, no relics whatsoever. Kraken almost back up for Yemen. In fact, it is back up. Can be used to secure this Gold Fury or find a kill.
Zalia the back, going to get some pressure onto Emelito, but impaled into a wall. The damage out from Yaman on top of that was pretty good as Big Man Tings forced to ult to create some room. Dimmy falls back after zoning the way of Valance, and now both teams will just stare at each other and go back to farming.
Pretty surprised we didn't see Fear No Evil just come out on top of Zalia as soon as he showed his face in the middle of everyone. I don't think anyone else from Valance would have been close enough to really help him out if that was the case. And of course, no purification beads on a solo laner. He in fact went for the Sunder yet again. And he's very, very far behind right now. 3 levels behind Dimmy. I wonder if that's Xaylia just saying, look, we need more damage out of me, and I'm going to get it with a relic.
And the big key is the jungle and the solo laner are both behind in terms of levels up against NRG's jungler and solo laner. Both of them in the lead, a little bit further ahead in the builds now as well. And this is creating a bit of a situation where Valance are struggling in the engagements, but they don't struggle with the oracles there. They will strip those away as NRG were the one that did all the work for them.
That's a good win right now, because with the Gold Fury going to be the next big point of contention, you just want to have that uncontestable vision. You're going to have it whether they've got a sentry ward there or not. So even if Valance do lose to the ward battle on that side, they're still going to have that Oracle vision.
Well, Gold Fury is around there for Valance now, but they're looking to pressure Amelito, and Funball and him continue to box over and over again as much as possible like they like to do. But the collapse on Amelito is pretty strong here. Cherio walks around the corner, but Amelito recognized what was going on, and Dimmy's here as mid lane. You can see that Lobster was forced to use through space and time after the pressure from adapting.
And no ultimates down for NRG, so Lobster, he's back, and he's back for a while. He does have the mobility from Giannis, but not going to be able to get back in with that through space and time. Like you mentioned, Gold Fury being started up by NRG. They all have ults. They've all got relics. Dimmy has that blink ready as well.
On zone G, going to get an axe, but adaptive blinks in and gets a fearless. No evil off. Not enough damage though, as a fearless now comes through from Cherio into a Kraken that gets aegis out. Yamin takes a lot of poke there, but he's still standing for now. Xaylia on zone duty eats a lot of poke from Yamin, and the Whirlpool struggling down to allow Adapt and Amelito to combine to pick him up. Next on the list is Big Man Tings as Amelito looking for another one on top of this. Leaps over the back, but just too much pressure. The Aegis bought enough time, and now he's going to get the revive from Rafa if needed.
Funball still trying to trade out his life for someone's. Lobster, he's going to pick up Yamin, but going to fall eventually. Funball on the run, adapting. Going to teleport to the monkey. Aegis used by Funball to make sure he doesn't take too much damage from that overhead smash. 4 dead for Valance Squadron.
Oh, Funball was so close. He was looking for the double shot onto Amelito more than likely if he could. In the end, he didn't get any of them and falls down there. Nice reaction from Rafa with the abduct as well to not allow him to reposition. But NRG don't go for gold, they take a tier 1 instead. They're
going to take that 500 gold instead of the larger overall Gold Fury, but giving them more map presence with taking down this tower, about 10,000 or 9,000 experience in the lead. That's the big one right now for NRG. This gold lead, 5,000, yeah, that's pretty strong at this stage, but 9,000 experience, it's only going to keep getting bigger as adapting. Again, just taking his secondary jungle.
Secondary jungle overall and just keeps stealing with the speed. And this is the other thing with the Ymir jungle. The speed buff really does help him to initiate these fights and make these rotations quicker. If you denied that, as well as you don't have Blink to initiate, it makes it very awkward for Valance to really initiate here. They're going to have to rely more on energy initiating and then counter initiation, which they can be pretty strong at, to be fair,
but
with their comp.
The problem with that is when you want to counter initiate, you want your tanky targets to absorb skills and then go in whenever those skills are on cooldown for the opposition. But when your tanky targets are level 14, 15, and 14, they can't really absorb those skills without dying necessarily. So that's where the problem is with this sort of re-engage mentality for Valance.
Not sure if Valance know the Gold Fury was still standing there, but they've not really pressured it on this side. We've only got one ward over here for the time being, which is just away from it. But I think Lobster's going to go and check it out now, realizing the Oracles are up too. He finds the Gold Fury started up. Cherio on the way from mid lane as well, as Yamin's still farming, forcing the reset for the time being, as Dimmy on the right will take down a tier 1 tower.
And just continue to proxy farm here. This Dimmy's done a great job all game of really controlling this lane up against the lane bully in Chalk. The Premier 1 hasn't really been enough for Xaylia to really take hold in this lane. 3-level difference, and again, Dimmy still has that teleport if he needs it.
Amelito might not realize that Big Man Tings is lurking in the wings there, but Funball just took a huge trade that was not good for him. Adapted in mid lane, picks up Lobster as Funball is fighting against Amelito, who 2v1s, and yeah, he deserves those taunts there, let's be honest. Your 2v1 jobs are good, and meanwhile mid lane now being pressured by NRG as they're looking to pick up Tings on the left.
Oh, the blink, the fearless, there's the slow. Impale not going to find the home thanks to the body block from the tower. Dazzling offense just trying to buy Tings a little bit of time, and it might be enough. No, Lawbringer gonna slow. There's the fearless Raffer. He earned that one. He earned that kill.
He did, and now NRG are going to get a tier 1 tower on the left-hand side after the tier 2 tower in the mid lane that was taken by adapting in Yamin too. Nice Aegis on Melito, nice Aegis. Just in case those minions did a few extra hits. The Portal Demon going to go down as well, and the tier 2 tower on left, and in a matter of seconds, this game has been blown wide open in favor of NRG.
NRG just, they work so well as a unit, but also spread out. They spread you out across the map, and then every single individual skirmish, goes their way.
Look at the space of time. They're going to find down the left, looking for a potential pick on Emilito. Meanwhile, the rest of the team doing the Fire Giant, and they don't even find Emilito as well. Valance are in trouble here now. They're on the back foot, and NRG have really put their foot on the gas now.
I think maybe Valance thought that Emilito would be soloing Gold Fury during this time. They were going to try and steal that away and pick him off. I don't really know, but I know Cherio's in a bunch of trouble right now. The slows from the Gem of Isolation, Fear No Evil just for the light show, as well as Scarab's Blessing. It's a really nice, it just looks nice to look at.
Just in case. I think NRG realize how far ahead they are now, and this time to have a bit more fun with this. So Dr. Zalia's good into a Kraken, but it's immune thanks to the ultimate from Zalia to get away from the edge of it. Gonna throw the axe, but they're holding the axe position, and they won't even need it because the impale from Emilito there was on point to allow him to bring him down before he could teleport to it.
The real difference for me in this game for NRG is that Adapting looked like himself. He controlled the map. He was consistently stealing away speed buffs, and he's top of the player damage charts. He's had a phenomenal game on this Hunbats.
Right Phoenix falls, and now NRG waiting in mid lane, looking to bait around the corner. Valance is coming out a little bit more, but now they're going to try and backdoor this. Rapper has the aggro for now. Ting's going to initiate on Yamin for a second, but the Phoenix is already dead.
The big man Tings, he's going to find a stun onto Yamin, and then he's going to get immediately turned on. Cherio gets juggled along with Funball, just buying space for Adapting to pick up big man Tings. There's a double freeze, but Cherio so slow in this whirlpool. Yamin's going to be able to find him as well. NRG look like they're going to be able to pick up their first win of the season.
I don't think they've got enough minions here to really bring this down with the respawns coming through right now. But I think you're on point though, that I think this could be the game they win for the first one of spring.
You know, just NRG just needed to
technically
blow up a little bit.
It's not the first one of the year because the first one of the year was at the World Championships.
Yeah, but I mean, who
oh!
That was nice. That was nice.
That was hot.
Holding the Sacred Monkey bounce until Lobster had gone through the portal. Adapting's feeling it right now, and that's what you expect to see from him. 10, 0, and 8. He's got tons of penetration. He's got tons of damage with the Hydras, with the Heartseeker. Good amount of cooldown as well. Really, really strong play from him today.
I don't see much of a way back in for Valance Squadron right now, though, other than maybe a Fire Giant steal, but there's no Fire Giant for a while. And with 3 Phoenixes down, I mean, NRG return to base, finish off a couple more Ions, and then just charge down mid with minions.
I mean, just look at how little tower damage Valance has done this game. They've got the solo tower down to about half HP, the left-hand tower, they've done about 15% too. I mean, they would have to win.
Whoa, bring up player damage again for me. I just saw some player damage there that was quite interesting. Is that 2,500 on the Ymir? Cherry's not been able to get involved in this game at all. It just shows from that start alone. Like, if your jungle is that far behind with that low of a player damage, a support Ymir generally does more than that.
It's just been the fact that
on Cherio, it's more picking on how well NRG have played.
Yeah, that was the idea from the get-go. Just make sure all the long-range CC is onto Cherio on this Ymir and immediately punish him for it. Dimmy helps a brother out, pushes him through that portal with the Fearless, but big man Tings, he might not get that same amount of help.
I don't know, because Dimmy can't really catch up to him right now with the extra mobility that an Amaterasu has, even at level 15 here, as now they decide to push in all the lanes. Cherio trying to get a little bit of farm for himself on the right-hand side, as the rest of NRG just mount an offense on the doorstep of Valance's base and Titan.
Surprised we don't see a Frenzy pickup for NRG, just trying to guarantee a game-ending push here, trying to make sure that all their items are finished first, I suppose.
Round on the right, you can see Dimmy going to be forced to absorb the Magi's Blessing, now going to be on cooldown, but Dimmy doesn't care, he's focusing the Titan for now. Okay, taking a bit of punishment as the rest of NRG just wait for the minions to leave aside. Kraken on Cherio is good, he's not enough to kill him just yet. A nice silence coming out from Zalia will slow it down for a second, but Cherio falls to 0 and 8 and 0, and NRG